Hey guys, YouTube Warren here. Alright, now here I am continuing on with these home video Goosebumps episode reviews. And now I've gotten to like the two big ones that I saved for last in these reviews, which is of course like the two Haunted Mask episodes. And so, now here I am with a review for The Haunted Mask. So of course, like this is like an episode that everybody that watched Goosebumps knows. This is like one of the most popular episodes of the entire series. Yeah, of course, like this was the very first episode ever of the show, and it was also the first of these episodes that was released on home video. So of course, so this is like one that really did like pave the way for like this entire show. This is just like one of the uh, most popular ones ever. Yeah, one of the most popular episodes of the show, and it is also considered by many to be like one of the best episodes of the show. Like if you like look up like list of like the best episodes of Goosebumps, this is one that will probably like for most of them will be at number one. Yeah, you, yeah, both like the Haunted Mask and the Haunted Mask Two are usually like number one on like many best Goosebumps episodes, including mine. Like you may remember all those years ago when I was doing the countdown on the best Goosebumps episodes. I did put like both the Haunted Mask and the Haunted Mask Two at number one on the list because I would just really liked both. Like both episodes are my favorite episodes of the entire show, and it really is hard for me to really like decide which one I do like more because both of them like they each like have like do like certain things better than the other one. Like, yeah, each one really does have their advantage. So it really is like kind of tough for me to really decide which one I do really like more. But yeah, regardless, both episodes are just really great. And yeah, like I said, they really are considered by many to really be the best episodes of the show. And and some of the most popular ones as well. Like as I said, these are just like two episodes of the show that everyone knows that have watched Goosebumps. Yeah, and just really do like this episode a lot. Just I've seen it just like so many times, and just I really don't really like go a Halloween without watching both these Haunted Mask episodes. Like pretty much every year on Halloween, I do watch like both Haunted Mask episodes. They really did like leave a big impact with me as a kid, and I still do watch it all these years later. Yeah, it is kind of like what Awesome Walter said, like in the channel Awesome video, where he was like talking about the top five best Goosebumps episodes. Yeah, he talked about how just this episode really does just hold up really well still all these years later, and it still is like considered one of the best. And it's true. So this episode was of course like based on the 11th book in the Goosebumps book series, yeah. And R.L. Stein, like even said like this is actually like his favorite Goosebumps story. Yeah, yeah. So even like R.L. Stein really did love this story. So just this story has just really like left like just a really big impact on the entire like Goosebumps name. Yeah, yeah, of course, so everybody pretty much does know the story. Like, what it is about. It's about a girl named Carly Beth that, like, is just, like, always being, like, picked on and teased, and just everybody is always, like, scaring her and just exploiting her fears. And, yeah, then on Halloween, she just really decides that she wants revenge. So she goes out and gets, like, a very scary mask to try to get her revenge. And then at first, like, she really does love the mask. Like, she just really does love how scary she is. But then eventually she does realize that the mask may be a little more trouble than it's worth. And yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the mask just it doesn't come off, and and it just like really does like attach to her face. So I think really like just this idea is just something that I think is like does something that really does like kind of like really like give kids like the creeps. Like, can you just imagine if you were wearing a mask for Halloween and you couldn't take it off? Like, just I can't even imagine that. Yeah, yeah, and of course, like the haunted mask itself, it really is like looked at as like once like Slappy, it really is like considered like one of the greatest monsters in the entire Goosebumps series. Yeah, yeah, I really do think that like the haunted mask really does rank up there with Slappy. Like I was like talking about, like I did a video like all those years ago, like I'm talking about like how I would envision like a Goosebumps movie is like the haunted mask and Slappy really joining forces and stuff. So yeah, so I really have like just really like held the haunted mask in a high regard as like one of the best Goosebumps monsters of all time. Yeah, and just yeah, and I just really do like this episode. I mean, I watched it a lot as a kid. Like, yeah, it was one of those episodes that like, while I did like find it like kind of like scary as a kid, just it was one that I would always just like keep coming back to. Like, I would just keep watching it because it just like was just so good. Like, and just the scary factor that it had, it just really did kind of like in a way just really did make me come back. It wasn't like something like Werewolf of Fever Swamp where like I was talking about in my review for the Werewolf of Fever Swamp how it was one that just like was like just really scary to me as a younger kid that I just really couldn't get through watching when I was younger. Yeah, but with this one, this like was like had like the scary factor in a different way where it was just like the scariness just really did like just keep bringing me back, and I just like kept watching this episode like all the time growing up. So yeah, so I just really did love this episode a lot. Just yeah, it was just such a great episode. Just yeah, just Carly Beth's story is just like really good in this. Like just how she's just like always just like scared of everything, and you just see like how much it upsets her in the beginning. Just it really does make you kind of really like sympathize with her in the beginning when you see just like how upset it makes her that just pretty much everybody is always is trying to scare her and just exploiting her fears and laughing at her and all this stuff. So yeah, so it really does make you really sympathize with her in the beginning when you just see like how bad it is for her. Yeah, and then yeah, then like when she finally does like a get the mask and she actually is like out like scaring everybody, it really does kind of like make it feel like satisfying when you first like see her doing it because you just like finally see that turnabout is fair play. So yeah, so it really does like really give you like a sense of satisfaction when you do like see her finally getting her revenge, and especially like when she does actually like scare the two boys that are like her main target that are the ones that are really always is like scaring her, Chuck and Steve. Like when you do like see her finally get her revenge on them, it really is like very satisfying to see. But yeah, then like of course eventually when we do like see like the what like is really like going on with the mask like that is like where it does really get more creepy, and especially like in the end when you really do like hear about like what the story is behind the haunted mask and the others like it. Yeah, yeah, it just really does make it like very like very chilling. Yeah, and especially like when we do like see like the other masks do what they do at the end. Yeah, it really is just like it really does like really like give you the creeps. Yeah, so just yeah, what can I really say about this episode? Just it is a classic that really does like hold up all these years later, and like you said, it is just an episode that every Goosebumps fan knows about. So yeah, so just I really don't know what else to say about it. Just it is just like such a really good episode, and it really is among the best episodes in the entire show's run. So yeah, I would say check it out. But I mean, yeah, if you're watching this, chances are you have watched it. All right, so yeah, so yeah, I'm not really sure, don't really know what else I can say about it. So yeah, so I guess I'll just talk about the premise of the episode. All right. So the episode opens up with an introduction from R.L. Stein. Yeah, he was just talking about how we're going to see one of his favorite stories come alive, and he just is talking about like what the Haunted Mask was about, how it's a frightening Halloween story about a girl named Carly Beth, and how the horror begins when Carly Beth really does when she puts on the evil Haunted Mask, and then it ends when Carly Beth discovers like there's nothing more powerful than the love of her friends and family, and then he just asked like what's so scary about that, and we'll see. Yeah, and then he actually said, viewers beware, you're in for a scare. Yeah. Then when the episode like actually started, it showed a Carly Beth and her best friend Sabrina on their way to a pumpkin patch the night before Halloween, and as on their way there, they like like spotted like a new like a novelty shop that like is selling like Halloween masks and costumes and stuff. Yeah. And before I actually like I continue on here, like I just wanted to talk a little bit about Carly Beth and Sabrina real quick because yeah, first of all, like Sabrina in like these two Haunted Mask episodes, she's played by the same girl that played Sue in A Night in Terror Tower. So yeah, it was interesting to see. Like I didn't realize it at first when I was watching this, but yeah, I eventually did like realize that it was the same girl. Yeah. And what I find like kind of funny is like the two girls that play Carly Beth and Sabrina, like Carly Beth, like the actress playing her is named Catherine Long, and with Sabrina, like her actress's name is Catherine Short. So I find it kind of funny how like they both have the same first name, but yet one has the last name Long, and one has one the other's last name is Short. So I find that kind of funny. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Yeah. Then, as they were like continuing on towards the pumpkin patch, we did like see like this guy inside the store that was like very mysterious. He was just like looking on. Yeah. Then when Carly Beth and Sabrina arrived at the pumpkin patch for Carly Beth to get a pumpkin, as like Carly Beth was picking out a pumpkin, she then like noticed like movement coming from underneath the grass, and then a hand then popped up, and then drove what looked to be like a two um walking jack o' lanterns approaching her. Then it was revealed it was just Chuck and Steve, who, as I said, were just two boys that were always like scaring Carly Beth and laughing at her. Yeah. Then Carly Beth was just a this like she just like stormed off really just upset and angry about it. And then but Sabrina just gave Carly Beth some comfort, just saying how Chuck and Steve were just uh creeps and sickos. They just have no life, and just assured Carly Beth that it was just a stupid joke. But Carly Beth was still upset about it because Chuck and Steve don't like tease anybody else like they do with Carly Beth. So Carly Beth was really just upset as why they are always doing it to her. Yeah, but yeah, but Carly Beth then just said maybe someday Chuck and Steve will know how it feels. Yeah, yeah. Then as Carly Beth and Sabrina were then like passing by that novelty shop again, we saw the that mysterious guy again and looking on. Yeah. Then when Carly Beth arrived home, like her mom showed her how she made a plaster Paris sculpted head of Carly Beth, and yeah, Carly Beth was like a little bit creeped out by it, but yeah, she said that she did like it, but yeah, she was wondering why her mom like made something that looked like her, and her mom just told her that she did it because she loved Carly Beth. Yeah, then Carly Beth started to get freaked out because she just like told her mom that the head smiled at her, though we didn't like see it on screen. Yeah, but yeah. Then, like, as her mom was just telling her that she was letting the Halloween stuff get to her, yeah, Carly Beth just said it was a trick in the light. Then her mom, Carly Beth's mom told her that she made a duck costume for her for Halloween because after Carly Beth like saw a duck at the mall, she said that she thought it might be fun to be a duck for Halloween. Yeah, yeah. And then as Carly Beth went off to her room, then we actually did see like the sculpted head smiling, though. Yeah, and we do of course like something else happened with the head later on, and this is something that I kind of like am like questioning because was the head actually doing this, or was just this like a Carly Beth and like later on Chuck and Steve's mind playing tricks on them? Yeah, because of course, like you, if you, like you know, like what the head ends up doing later on. So yeah, it does like make me like kind of question whether the head is like was really doing this stuff or if it was just like mind tricks. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Then when Carly Beth like went into her room, like she heard noises coming from inside her room, and when she opened her door, like her little brother Noah was wearing her a duck costume, just like scaring her some more. Yeah. And the following day, as Carly Beth and Sabrina were at school having lunch, Chuck and Steve apologized to Carly Beth for their prank, but as they were just talking to Carly Beth, they ended up slipping a live worm into her lunch. And yeah, and then after they like just walked uh, appeared to like walk off. And as Carly Beth continued to eat her lunch, she then eventually like discovered the worm in her lunch, and then Chuck, Steve, and pretty much everybody was laughing at Carly Beth. So yeah, that's something that I really do find like pretty cool. Like this was something that I really did like sympathize with Carly Beth with. Just it was just like so messed up that just other than Sabrina, nobody was sympathizing with Carly Beth. They were just laughing at her. Like that is just cold. Cold, yeah, and it really does make me just gives me it just is like another example of why I just really do despise kids like this, because especially like in elementary school, like rather than like anybody really sympathizing with you whenever like something like this happens, they're just laughing at you. So yeah, it's a reason like that why I just cannot stand kids in elementary school. Ugh. Yeah, and then yeah, Carly Beth then just like arrived at home just like very sad and upset. And then yeah, she was just like so mad about what happened that she ended up just like ripping up her duck costume. Yeah, and then yeah, then Carly Beth decided that she wanted revenge, so she took some money with her and then went down to that novelty shop to find a mask to get revenge on Chuck and Steve. Yeah, then yeah, then like when she first arrived at it, like as like the shopkeeper at the store, who was like the guy inside the store that was looking on at them. Yeah, and then like he gave Carly Beth time to pick out a mask, but then as like he was busy, Carly Beth then was just like not really like finding any masks that she liked on the walls, and then she eventually then discovered like a back room that was kind of like some sort of lab, and she then like spot found like a lineup of like some pretty terrifying masks. And then yeah, then she saw like of course like the one that she really wanted. And then before she could actually get it, like the shopkeeper ended up stopping her. And then he just like told her that the masks in that room were not for sale because they were too frightening. But yeah, Carly Beth then just explained her situation to the shopkeeper that she wanted revenge. And yeah, but yeah, the shopkeeper still was just like still reluctant about letting Carly Beth take a mask. But then, yeah, as he then just like persuaded Carly Beth to leave, Carly Beth ended up just taking the mask and running out of the store. Yeah, and then yeah, then when Carly Beth arrived back home with the mask, she put it on, and yeah, she just saw like how terrifying she looked. And yeah, and also like Carly Beth also like had this like different voice when she put on the mask. And yeah, and if I do kind of like have like a little bit of a complaint about this episode, I think that like Carly Beth's voice with the mask is like oh kind of over the top, because she's given like this kind of like higher pitched witch kind of like voice. It sounds kind of like this, and yeah, I just feel that it sounds like kind of over the top. So yeah, I guess that is kind of like one nitpick that I do have with the episode, but it's really not a big deal. Yeah. Then first like a Carly Beth like jump scared Noah with it and then yeah, then before Carly Beth actually went out, she ended up taking like the sculpted head her mom made and just like put it on a stick and then went out with Sabrina. Yeah, and then it showed like how Carly Beth like was just like jump scaring like a whole bunch of other trick or treaters in the neighborhood. Yeah. Then when Sabrina like saw the mask, she was like really amazed by it. But then, yeah, when she was asking Carly Beth about the mask, then at one point Sabrina then like felt it and was it like felt like real skin. Yeah, and I guess I should mention that like after like Carly Beth jump scared Noah, like she ended up like taking the mask off and then put it back on before she went out. Yeah, and then yeah, then at this point like Sabrina then like when she felt the mask, she like said that it really did feel like real skin, and she was just like really thinking that Carly Beth probably shouldn't be wearing the mask, but yeah, Carly Beth really was having none of it. Yeah. Then at one point, as Carly Beth and Sabrina then like actually went up to a house, then like the family there like were like creeped out by Carly Beth's mask, and like it was a mother and two kids, and then like Carly Beth ended up scaring one of the kids, and then when the mother then was just getting after Carly Beth for it, Carly Beth just told the mother that if she doesn't stop talking, she'll get what's coming to her too. Yeah, and at this point, like Sabrina, like realized that Carly Beth really was changing inside of that mask, and even like Carly Beth actually said that she's not the one doing all the stuff; the mask is what's making her do it. Yeah. Then like Sabrina then just like wanted to just go back to her house, but Carly Beth refused, and she was just saying that like Halloween's the one night that she gets to have fun, and it's the one night that she doesn't have to be her typical scarable self. So then Carly Beth then just ran off, and then it just showed her like wreaking havoc throughout the neighborhood, just scaring everybody. Yeah. And then eventually Carly Beth was able to track Chuck and Steve at a local cemetery. And then Carly Beth then popped out at Chuck and Steve in the cemetery. Yeah. Then she showed them the sculpted head, saying that that was Carly Beth's head, and then she just like was yelling at Chuck and Steve to apologize for everything that they've done to Carly Beth. But yeah, then like Chuck and Steve were just saying that they were just doing it to goof around because they liked Carly Beth. But yeah, Carly Beth just told them that that was no excuse and it was not the way to show someone they like her, and was just telling them to apologize. And then they did. But then then of course like this is what I was talking about a little bit ago. Yeah, the head then like actually spoke, saying, "Help me, please help me." So I don't know. Like, was the head actually doing this? Was the head really alive, or like was this just like Carly Beth, Chuck, and Steve's mind playing tricks on them? So so I'm not really too sure which one it really was, but yeah, Carly Beth ended up just getting freaked out by it that she dropped the head, and then Chuck and Steve were just in and were just horrified, and then they ended up like running off screaming. Then of course like Carly Beth was happy she got her revenge, and she was just like jumping and howling in celebration. Then with Carly Beth being like just so satisfied, she then and just wound up like burying the sculpted head, which I'm not really too sure why, because she didn't really like ever like give an explanation as to why she buried the head. But it was what it was. Then Carly Beth ended up then like running back to the neighborhood, where she then like met back up with Sabrina, and they went back to Sabrina's house. Then as Carly Beth like tried to take the mask off, of course like it wouldn't, she couldn't get it off. It was stuck, and even like Sabrina couldn't get it off. And then Carly Beth and Sabrina then like saw that like the mask had no bottom, and there was no place they could reach in to pull it off. Then when Carly Beth looked at herself in the mirror, then she noticed that that the eyes in the mirror from her were not actually her own eyes. So Carly Beth then started to freak out. Then she ran out of the house, and then ran back to the shop where the shopkeeper was waiting for her. Then as she was just telling the shopkeeper that she wanted the mask off, the shopkeeper was just telling her that like he can't move the mask. And when Carly Beth asked why, he just told her that it's it's not an act it's not actually a mask, but it's a real face. Yeah. And then he was just explaining like how all the masks that he had like mounted up in that lab in the back, it was just explaining how like despite like how ugly and terrifying that they are, that they weren't actually like that in the beginning, that they were actually like as beautiful as a face could be. But something went wrong, and then they just ended up like decaying. Yeah. Then he then just ended up then just eventually like telling Carly Beth that the face is now her face. And as Carly Beth then just like started to like just freak out and bawl, he then just told Carly Beth that there could be a possibility to take it off. And he asked Carly Beth how many times she's taken off the mask so far. Carly Beth told her that she's only done it once, and so then that's when he said that there could still be a chance for Carly Beth to get it off. Because how this like works is that if you like put on these like haunted masks 3 times, that's when they actually do like stick to you permanently. At least that's how like it's like meant to be. Though it was like kind of like messed up a little bit in the sequel. But I'll talk about that when I do talk about the haunted mask 2. And he was just telling Carly Beth that the only way that she's going to be able to take the mask off is with a symbol of love. But he didn't say anything else like describing about that. So Carly Beth really didn't know exactly what he meant. And then when she asked him how he knew all this stuff, then the shopkeeper then told her that he was actually the one that created the faces. And when Carly Beth asked him why he created them, he just explained to Carly Beth how he was basically exactly like her, how he just like really didn't love himself, and he made the faces in an attempt to really hide behind them, to hide his thoughts. But his thoughts were inside of him, and that was really like what ended up making the faces into monsters. And he then like said that he was actually like wearing one right now that was turning. Yeah. And he said that he wouldn't dare show Carly Beth what he has underneath, but then he like was saying maybe he should so she would appreciate who she is. And yeah, and this was kind of like interesting because despite the fact that like the shopkeeper like did actually like say that he was wearing like one of those faces that he made, like we never actually do see what he, like his actual face, like what he has underneath, like what is underneath. Yeah. Yeah, but then as Carly Beth was starting to like just freak out some more, saying that she wanted herself back, then like then the other haunted masks then actually then like awoke, and then they arose from their stance that they were mounted on and started to like come at Carly Beth. And so then yeah, Carly Beth then made a run for it, and the other masks were then just like saying like just trying to persuade Carly Beth to join them. Yeah, but then Carly Beth then just like ran off and then went back to the cemetery to dig up her head as the other masks were approaching her, and Carly Beth was just like telling them no and to stay away from her. And then, yeah, then she eventually was able to like dig the head back up, and then she showed it to the other masks, and then that's when the masks just backed off and disappeared. Yeah. Then after that, then Carly Beth was actually able to remove the mask. And yeah, then Carly Beth was relieved that like the mask was just a mask again. Yeah. Yeah. Then she also realized that like just her sculpted head was a symbol of love, and that was really what the shopkeeper was meaning by a symbol of love. Yeah. Yeah. Then when Carly Beth arrived back home, and like Noah of them like scared Carly Beth into thinking that she was still wearing the mask, and then yeah, then when Carly Beth then like went ran to her mom and hugged her, then like her mom was just like asking her why she didn't wear her duck costume and why wasn't she with Sabrina. And then yeah, Carly Beth just told her mom that she had learned a lot about herself that night. Yeah. And then yeah, then like then the episode then just ended with like Noah putting on the mask and just laughing as he was wearing it. Yeah. And then it cut back to R.L. Stein, like just saying that that wasn't too scary, was it? And then he was asking his like quote unquote parents what they thought of it, and it just showed like his like parents like just like absolutely frozen, like with like screaming expressions on their faces, with like their hair like just up in the air. So then R.L. Stein just said he thinks they liked it and he hopes that we did too, and he just said, "Have a scary day, everyone." And then yeah, then that's how it ended. So yeah, so what can I really say about this episode? I mean, yeah, it is just a great story, and it really is one of the best episodes of the show. And yeah, considered by a lot, either this or the sequel, to really be the best episode of the entire show. So yeah, so this is a story that really has just like left a huge impact in the Goosebumps franchise, and yeah, and it really is an episode that really is held in a high regard by a lot. So, yeah, so what can I say? I mean, mine included in it. Just I really do love the episode. It really is really good, and yeah, and just yeah, I just really don't know what else to say. Like I said, there's no not really any point in me recommending it because yeah, if you watch Goosebumps, you have watched it before. So yeah, so just what can I say? Just yeah, it's one that many people have praised and rightfully so. So yeah, so Haunted Mask is definitely a really, really good episode of the show. All right, so yeah, and of course, like this, the story would be like continued on in the sequel, The Haunted Mask 2, which I will talk about tomorrow for Halloween to finish off these reviews. All right, so stay tuned for my review of The Haunted Mask 2 tomorrow on Halloween. All right, but yeah, so I guess this is all I can really say. So this is it for my review of The Haunted Mask. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.